FamilySearch is revolutionizing the way we do family history, but there's a big problem.
Gedcoms.
What?
Gedcoms.
Howdy, I'm Devin Noel Lee.
And I'm Andy Lee.
And we're Family History Fanatics, and we have a big problem with Gedcom. And anyone who's trying to upload a Gedcom to FamilySearch to put into the family tree, or more importantly, anybody who tells someone to upload a Gedcom to FamilySearch, family tree. Andy, why don't you tell us, everyone, why Gedcoms are such a problem?
All right, so let's start off with a little bit of history behind the Gedcom format. This is a file format that was created by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in order to more easily transfer genealogical information. And the first version of it was created back in the 1980s. It was used in their program, the Personal Ancestral File, and was adopted by several other programs as well. The nice thing about it is it allowed you to transfer information from one computer to another computer, which before the internet, that was the only way to get information between people.
Absolutely.
So for instance, if my aunt wanted to be able to share what she had done, she could put her information onto a Gedcom file, mail that to me, and I could upload that to my computer and be able to see what her research showed. So at the time, it was a great innovation, and it allowed us to collaborate better than what we could do before with just writing everything out by hand. Now, over time, the format changed. It was updated, which is a good thing. And by 1995, 1996, 5.5, that version of the Gedcom file, became the standard. Interestingly enough, 5.5 is still the standard for the Gedcom files. It's a standard that's 20 years old. And that's really because there hasn't been much agreement between all of the different people that use it on what changes should be made. Now, each company's software can usually import Gedcom files and export Gedcom files. But in these days, your Family Tree Maker, your Roots Magic, and any other programs, they don't actually store information using Gedcom files. They use their own proprietary formats. And so the Gedcom file has really become just a way to transfer information between programs. Because of this, each program actually reads the Gedcom files in a little bit different way. Because they're using their own proprietary formats, some of that information doesn't fit the Gedcom standard. So whenever you're exporting information from Family Tree Maker or from Roots Magic into a Gedcom file, if you imported that back into Roots Magic or Family Tree Maker, the same program that you exported with, it probably wouldn't look the same as what your database was. Now, probably 98% of it or so is the same, maybe 99% of it's the same, but there's still going to be some things that are dropped off. For instance, sources, they're not all handled the same way. There's certain events where most programs allow you to have user-defined events, but the Gedcom standard doesn't have user-defined events. And then multimedia, which has become a big part of family history and saving our memories. Those files aren't always transferred over really well.
So, how does what he said relate to FamilySearch, Family Tree, and how they're revolutionizing the way we do genealogy? In 2012, FamilySearch launched a FamilySearch Family Tree in a wiki-style tree. No longer are we supposed to keep our trees separate. We're supposed to work on one common tree that we all edit together. Open edit. Now, when FamilySearch began that tree for everybody to work on, it seeded it with all the information from the past. Actually, all those Gedcom files that were submitted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints by members and other people who wanted to donate their genealogical research to the Utah Genealogical Society. Well, so we've had these Gedcom files for a very long time, and that's where the tree started.
Well, we don't work for FamilySearch, so I can't tell you exact numbers. But from different talks that I've heard from people that do work for FamilySearch, there's probably about 1.1 billion people in the family tree. Now that sounds like a lot, but a lot of that is actually duplicates. There's really only about 350 million in, I guess you could call it the main tree, and probably somewhere between 500 and 800 million people that are duplicates of those people or not connected at all to that big family tree. So family tree already has hundreds of millions of records of people in the tree. So when you're talking about adding a Gedcom file, what are you really trying to do?
It's been my experience working with people who want to put their Gedcom into the FamilySearch family tree. They want their tree to be included. Well, chances are, if you're not from a place like Syria or Africa, where not many people have been doing genealogy, or certainly not using those old Gedcom programs, your tree is already there. Remember, what did you say? 1980, 1995, the Gedcom programs have been around? Guess what? Somebody submitted your tree, and it's probably already there in the tree, and all you have to do is link up to them.
Now, there is a way that you can add your Gedcom file to the family tree, but we're not going to show it to you because we don't recommend that you do it. Really, for a couple of reasons. First off, if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, please, 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 please don't do it, because you've done it before, your parents did it, your cousins all did it, and that's why there's 800 million duplicates already that we have to merge together. So, if you're a member of the church, don't upload your tree. If you're not a member of the church, but you've been working on genealogy for decades, or somebody in your family's been working on genealogy for decades, if you've interacted with the family history library in Salt Lake City, don't upload your Gedcom file, because at some point, somebody probably already did. Now, if you do your own research and you've not found anybody else who's researching those lines, and you rarely, if ever, find trees already pre-built in places like Ancestry or Find My Past, and so you know that you're really the only one looking at this, then you might consider it. I said might.
So, if you're considering it, then just do little batches, small batches, maybe 10 people at a time, because chances are you'll have one duplicate, and that's better than having thousands of duplicates to try to merge. So if you're gonna upload a Gedcom file, just do a little bit at a time. Next, every time you upload that Gedcom, make sure you check for duplicates. Like I said, chances are you're gonna bump into somebody. And finally, after you've uploaded your small, remember we're small, Gedcom file, make sure it transferred correctly. Now, if you still feel the need to preserve your Gedcom file, instead of uploading it into the tree, Andy's going to tell you of another way you can preserve that Gedcom file on FamilySearch and not mess up the tree.
So, if we go to the Search tab and then go down to Genealogies, this is going to pull up a lot of different records that can be useful for doing some research. For instance, the ancestral file, the International Genealogical Index, the pedigree resource file. Guess what? A lot of these things were what was used to seed the family tree in the first place. The pedigree resource file is where all these old Gedcom files that were submitted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints reside. Now, if you keep on scrolling down to the bottom of that page, you can see a place where you can actually submit your own Gedcom file. This will not put it in the family tree. It will upload it to this genealogy section, so it will be searchable. People will be able to see what kind of research you've done. So why would you actually want to upload your Gedcom file to the genealogy section?
Well, sometimes you let your memberships lapse in Ancestry.com or Find My Past or other websites. Well, you can upload your Gedcom file to FamilySearch and you never have to really worry about membership fees again. It'll be there where you left off. Second, by sharing your Gedcom file there, it becomes searchable by others. So remember back in the days where we would try to burn it onto a CD and ship it through the mail? We don't have to do that anymore. It's there and you can direct people to your copy, which is kind of nice. But why would we still not recommend you upload your Gedcom file?
Well, 3 reasons. First off, let me reiterate. The information's probably already there. 1.1 billion people in the family tree. There's a good chance your ancestors are there. Second reason, as I mentioned before, there's going to be some transfer errors with the Gedcom. For instance, if you're using some program like Roots Magic or Family Tree Maker to create the Gedcom. There's going to be a little bit of loss of information because of how they create the Gedcom file from their proprietary format. But not only that, now that Gedcom file is being uploaded to FamilySearch, and so they're going to read that information slightly differently than the way the other program created the information. So there is going to be some loss of information. It's not going to be an exact copy of what you want. And third, when you upload your Gedcom file to the genealogy section, it is not a live active copy. It's passive. It stays there exactly how it was uploaded, which means as you do more research and as you correct information that was wrong, or as you add information that was missing, you're going to have to go and re-upload your Gedcom file. Now, you have the ability to delete the old one and re-upload a new one, but a lot of people forget that, and they just continue to re-upload newer and newer and newer files without deleting the old ones, which creates lots and lots of copies of mostly the same thing, but now it's hard to figure out which one has all the correct information on it. Finally, if you inherited a bunch of information from your Aunt Mabel, who'd been doing genealogy for 30 or 40 years, you may be really tempted, particularly if she has some old Gedcom files, to just upload those so that you don't have to worry about it. Well, let me tell you, in this day and age, because of the technology that we have, because of the access to most of the records that we have, while Aunt Mabel may have spent 30 or 40 years doing all of that research, you can probably redo all of that research and verify it within a year or two. And during that time, you're going to find that Aunt Mabel made some mistakes. There were some things missing. So, if you inherited Gedcom files, please don't just upload them.
As I've said before, FamilySearch is revolutionizing the way we do family history and genealogy. In fact, here's an example. I still find copies of an old Gedcom file of mine that I uploaded to the internet because I was an eager beaver back in 1995-96, and it was wrong, and people keep citing that old, terrible Gedcom file. I can't get rid of it. But in FamilySearch, Family Tree, I can correct the tree, and I don't need to keep uploading my Gedcom because it's correct over there. So let's work together. Keep your copy, plant your tree if you want to on your own desktop, but don't be trying to upload your Gedcom to FamilySearch, Family Tree. I thank you, my husband thanks you, and millions of other people thank you.
And 1.1 billion people in Family Tree thank you as well, because they don't need duplicates.
So, do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Let's have a discussion in the comments section below. And if you enjoy Family History Fanatics, be sure to give this video a thumbs up like.